So for those of you who don't know Atom, we're based in the northeast of England. We were founded in 2013. We are an app-only bank, which means we literally only have one channel. Our website's static and that type of stuff, so the only way to transact with us is actually through the app. Our contact centre effectively teaches you how to use the app if you need help on it and everything else on your phone. We went live with savings in November 2015 and mortgages a year later, and then we also now offer business banking secured loans. The original bank was built based on third-party products, COTS, off-the-shelf products. A combination of those. It was hosted in a data centre, a third party's data centre for us, and they also provided the service management. So the Atom technology team was actually very small, as you'd expect, and all change was delivered through a number of third parties. We found this very expensive and slow is probably the best way of phrasing it. Just trying to do all that coordination, it's just, frankly, a bit of a nightmare. So we took the very brave decision to just rebuild the bank and then almost start again. So we've rebuilt the bank, we've built it in cloud and GCP. We've moved to cloud native products, so we haven't just lifted and shifted, we've actually done a true migration in that sense. We've built out the Atom technology team and brought it in-house so that we can actually drive and deliver that change for our customers. So like the analogy that we had at the time when we were talking about it is, effectively, we're trying to change an engine of a plane while it's in flight. So we managed it. We are now 100% in the cloud. We never ended up in any press, which I think for a migration program is actually what the sign of success more than anything else. People also got a new app as part of it, a new look, feel and everything else. And the app was about 10 times quicker. And it was consistent in terms of throughput as well. So Cigniti, they've been with us on all this journey. So they've been through 3 RFPs. So they've been reselected twice. So the first time was obviously for the original bank, working on the COTS. The second one was for the migration, and then the third one is obviously for the bank that we've got today that we're So we take advantage of the fact that they've got some DevOps resources in Hyderabad and helps us from a test perspective just in working with the time zones and stuff. But I think ultimately the success of the journey is to date is down to testament to the holistic value that they bring consistently to Atom. So in terms of like themes and that talent and tools, I mean they're clearly, obviously good at testing, and they've obviously clearly got some great tools like the Blue Swan stuff. But the true sort of way in which you can measure it from our perspective is our defect seepage into production is 0.02%, which is well better than the average of what you would get in general. And we've actually massively increased the volume of change that we make. So last year we did 62 app releases. So compared to in 2019 when we did 11. And that defect seepage and the amount of changes and the functionality has led us to be able to get App Store ratings of 4.8 and 4.7 on Apple and Google. So, but there's a collaboration culture. So Cigniti, they're very, very transparent, which is great because I can then do something with it. So if they've got a problem, they'll come and talk to us, and we can then jointly work out how do we go about fixing it. So that's they don't go and squirrel it away and just try and work out what's the best way to go and get around it. Ideation and innovation. So they look for, listen to and respond to challenges to achieve like optimal results. As you'd expect, we've had a number of discussions, politely put, over the number of years because just the duration that we've been together, but they always respond positively to it. So for example, we challenged them on the regression approach that we had in this part of the migration. And what they did is they changed the mix of the team to being more technical people. They built a 14,000 strong automation suite which ran overnight, which then basically changed it from being a 10-day process, heavily manually intensive, to this overnight process which has then enabled all those app releases to be able to go out. Commercials. So clearly we have a contract, but neither of us look at it. And that's probably the best thing I can say in lots of ways. When there's a problem, regardless of whether it's finances, whether it's resource, whether it's quality, whatever it might be, they just talk to us. It's very, very trust-based. There's no blame in any way, shape, form, and it's just worked through in terms of how do we go and get that resolved, which is just key, rather than actually on the quiet going and changing a few resources or changing the mix on me, or just going and creating loads of CRs that I then have to go and manage the workload through. So it's actually really, really helpful in that sense. But whilst we are talking about the commercials, one thing we do observe is about the Cigniti staff on the ground. They're very delivery focused, which is a positive, but it does mean that they aren't naturally thinking about sales. So if you're after something new, you have to physically go to them and ask them, do you offer this? Because sometimes you can end up going out to the wider world and actually it's actually available for you through Cigniti, and you just simply don't need to. Employee experience. Their staff, they clearly like working for Cigniti because they stay working for Cigniti. So there's a number of people who've been with us all the way through the journey, and even on the different types of work that we've been doing. So that helps massively just from an understanding of why we might be doing something, and actually the journeys and everything else. It's not a constant relearning with them. So it's a big plus from our perspective. They also spend time training their staff, rather than just going, oh, they're chargeable. They'll take them out and train them regularly, and they'll train them on the Atom stack. So recently they've trained them on our logging, monitoring and alerting tool, which is called Datadog, which is quite a cool name. And it's, they've gone and done that themselves just so that they can improve their defect analysis in non-production and understand what's taking place better. ESG, they don't just care about their people, they care about the communities and everything else where they live and work. Their corporate social responsibility initiatives with the underprivileged schools and hospitals, they truly make a difference. I was actually on that video, but I went to one of the schools and I opened up a computer lab and gave the people, the students, the books and everything else, and it's truly inspiring and humbling when you're doing it. And I mean, I'm very, very impressed with what they do and what the difference that they make in that sense. And then joint success. Cigniti, they feel and they actually believe that they can only be successful if Atom is successful, and that's amazing from our perspective. So that means it comes from every member of staff. It's not something that management have told them you must do, which just leads to them being remarkably, sometimes ridiculously flexible and just helpful. And you wouldn't know whether a person was an Atom person or a Cigniti person. They are as focused as we are on achieving the outcomes for our customers, which is great.